Okay, I want to do kind of a quick video that kind of distills some stuff I've talked about a lot in other videos. And this has to do with sort of the two most consistent problems I see with novice lyrics. Like I said, I've talked about these issues in passing a bunch in the past year or so, and beyond. But I want to kind of distill it down to like two things to watch out for and some advice on what you should be doing as a novice lyricist. As always, there's no rules. I don't make the rules, that's for sure. But as I've said many times, when you're a novice, it kind of behooves you to at least understand conventions, and to, if you're going to deviate from conventions, to do it fully aware with your eyes wide open. I'm choosing to do things a little differently. That's fine. You be you, and that's okay. But a lot of times I'm seeing these lyrics that are just posted in this kind of hope of securing collaboration, and then with a kind of prickly sense of don't touch my words. But I can see that these two problems exist, and and the existence of these problems is gonna create a conundrum where we probably do need to change your words. And there's some good reasons that we need to do that. So the two problems are: number one, a lack of awareness of song form. I'll see these songs that have like 7 verses. Generally speaking, conventionally speaking, there aren't songs with 7 verses. That's not really typical at all. No doubt there are some songs with 7 verses. That's not what we see usually. What we see usually is verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. This is a variant on A, B, A. Fine if you go to verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus. That's it. That's really the rock and roll AABA. But let's talk about verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. What are those 3 things? Verse, a chorus, and a bridge. What are they? What we're really talking about here is there are 3 melodies that we're going to be coming up with. One for the verses, one for the chorus, one for the bridge. Okay? You need to populate those sections with words, and the words have some different functions in those 3 sections. The verses will have the same exact melody and the same exact chord changes from verse to verse, but will have different words, new words that move your thought along, your story or your concept forward. You get to say 2 different things about it, but you have to say them to the same tune, which you don't know yet. So I'll get to that in a second. The chorus is the catchiest, most succinct part. You need to get to the point. This needs to be your aha moment where like this is the catchiest, cleverest, most interesting part of the song. This is the title of the song, is contained in the chorus. If it's not, there better be such an awesome reason that it's not. You need to get to the point. You need to make it snappy. You need to think of words that pop out and are interesting and intriguing. This is where the center of your engagement with the audience, because you're going to hear it 3 times exactly the same. So you get to repeat this thing 3 times. Make it count. The bridge, something new. It's going to be new music. It's relief. It's, sort of 2/3 of the way through this song. A new idea. Lyrically, this is where you might experiment with, maybe it's a new angle or a twist on the situation or a twist to the story. In any event, it needs to bring it home. This is your last chance to say anything about this topic. So whatever you have to say, it ends with what you say in the bridge, and then you end with, then the chorus brings it, puts a period on it. In conclusion, chorus. But that's kind of how it works. Verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. Now, here's the second problem that I see over and over again, or the second issue, challenge that I see with novice lyrics. Remember I talked about the verse is going to be to the exact same melody? That really is that concept is really kind of important. So Yellow Submarine, da 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 da. That is, the in the town where I was born, but it's also, and our friends are all aboard, and so we live beneath the waves. It's all the verses have different words, but they're to that exact same tune. Name that tune. We want to be able to name the tune. The melody should not have to be elastic to squeeze in your text. So you need to be thinking about hyper consistency between the verses of your song. Okay? More consistent than you probably are thinking about. It needs to have the same number of syllables. It needs to have the same stresses. It needs to have the same pauses. It needs to read the same. It needs to read exactly the same from one verse to another. Every single line needs to mirror exactly the other verse. It needs to be as if Charlie Brown's teacher, because you don't know the melody yet, but you need to be able to speak them with a wah, 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 and have it sound exactly the same. Where you pause to take a breath, where words cut off. So you need to be not only counting syllables, but you need to be mapping your stresses. This is unstressed, stressed, unstressed, unstressed, stressed. That needs to all line up. A pause here, with a little, map it out. Make sure that in your estimation, this is hyper consistent, because that's what your melodicist, that's the first thing they're going to do is they're going to say, I have this idea for a melody, and then they're going to get to your second verse and it's a different length and a different stresses, and they're going to say, these words need to bend. These words need to be rephrased. Maybe I'll do it, because most of the songwriters who, and this is sort of an aside, but the problem with seeking collaboration as a lyricist that you're going to find is that most of the songwriters who can write music also are pretty decent at writing words and have been down this road before, have faced this challenge before with their own words. Whether you'd argue that your words are better or more poetic, more wordsmithy than theirs, they've been down the road before and they know how this challenge goes. I've been down this road. I'm a pretty good lyricist, and I think I honestly I think I stand toe to toe with anybody whose words I come across in a songwriting forum. I'm at least that good. Even with my own words, I know the drill here. I have a melody I like a bunch. I just came up with a tune I like a bunch. I go looking through my notebooks of old words, which I wrote with consistency and structure to them, and thinking ahead, trying to prep myself best I can. I almost always am going to have to polish those words to fit. I'm going to polish and chisel and get them to fit this melody. And having done that, whatever I put in as verse 2, verse 3 is going to need to be real close. As a singer, I can take a few liberties. I know when it sounds natural to kind of have a quick subdivision that basically creates a tiny variation, and when it's worth it to do that. But I don't want to tap dance. I want it to sound natural. I want it to sound effortless, and I want it to sound the same. That's the challenge. That's the piece that it's hard to do when you're not used to solving that puzzle, to realize how well or not well your lyric does that. But you can get a little bit closer. You can know that that's what's gonna happen, and that's a challenge ahead. And you can get pretty close by counting your syllables, mapping your stresses, mapping the breaths the best you can, saying it one after the other, verse 1, verse 2, out loud to yourself, and knowing in your own mind these could sound. I think these sound the same. That's the goal. If you've done that, it's gonna be pretty minor kind of revisions that have to happen, if any. So, to recap, the two biggest problems that I see in novice lyrics that get posted to songwriting forums, for whatever reason, are a lack of awareness of standard song structure: verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. and a lack of effort to achieve hyper consistency between the two verses, stanza to stanza, word to word, line to line. So hopefully that helps. If you do that, you're gonna set yourself up for more success in collaboration, and you're gonna get to keep more of your words, and you're not going to have tension over being told that you have to rephrase, or just having the other songwriter, the person writing music, perform a rephrase because they're used to doing it on their own words. For instance, they know, oh, I would just say this a little differently. I'll say it like this, and now it fits. Now it fits. It's going to be the thing where they go, good, now it fits. You try to make it fit first, and then you'll have fewer squabbles and more satisfaction at the retention of your own thought process. So hopefully that helps. Until next time.